It's an honor for me to be here tonight. Not only am I from Chicago, but I'm representing an evangelical Christian community that spreads around this country and this world. Now take a look at my face.
Can you get that camera?
They asked me to come and talk about homophobia in the evangelical church. I'm the face of a homophobic evangelical person. I'm straight, and I take my straightness for granted. I'm white. I'm conservative. I'm an alpha male. And I grew up the biggest Bible-banging homophobe you'd ever met in your life. I called everybody a fag. My parents were fags, my friends were fags, my coaches and teachers. And if I didn't like something, I'd say, oh, that's so gay. You guys are all gay. And if you ask me why, I had a very clear answer for you. Well, listen, I can read. I know what the Bible says. It's a sin. It's a choice that can change. They're going to hell anyways. Besides, I don't know anyone who's gay, so what does it matter? And I didn't know anyone who was gay until the summer after my freshman year when my best friend told me she was a lesbian. And then the very next month, my other best friend told me she was a lesbian. And then the very next month, my other best friend, now listen to this, I only have 3 best friends. So what I'm about to tell you is I'm talking about 100% of my best friends. My third best friend, sitting in a car, leaned over to me and said, Andrew, you know, I got to tell you something. And knowing that my other 2 best friends came out, I said, what, Dan, you're going to tell me you're gay, right? He starts bawling. What was I doing? And I wondered, and I prayed to God every night, and I said, Lord, do I have a stamp on my forehead that says, are you gay and do you need a best friend? Because I'm going to Why would you give me all of my best friends in the one community that I had singled out my entire life? And you know what the Lord said to me? He said, Andrew, instead of asking me why me, maybe you should ask a different question. Maybe you should ask, what was it like for your 3 best friends to grow up with a Bible-banging homophobe as your best friend? And I'll tell you what, I stuck my little evangelical tail between my legs and went back to my best friends and said, I'm sorry. Now, I don't know. I have this little slogan. It's right from the gate, you can't relate. Because listen, I understand how it goes. If someone has a same-sex attraction, whether or not they act upon it, they're automatically cast a deviant to mainline Christianity. I don't know what that's like, and I never will. And so I went to my friends, and I said, listen, I'm just going to shut my mouth, and you guys just teach me. And you let me into your life. And for the first time, let your best friend know who you are for real. And at the end of the night, we talked 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and by the time we got done, maybe I was a little delusional, maybe I wasn't, but I felt the Holy Spirit say to me, Andrew, if you want to know why, you need to go and find out for yourself. And for me, that only meant one thing. I had to go immerse myself in the gay and lesbian community, so I moved into the Boys Town neighborhood in Chicago, and I dropped my straight life. I had no straight friends anymore, because my goal was to be the gayest straight dude in America. And as you can tell by my outfit, my friends have done a good job helping me out with that. But here's what I did. I only went to gay bars and clubs, only had gay and lesbian friends, only went to gay organizations, gay functions, gay churches. That was my life, because I needed to figure out why. And the first thing that I learned more than anything else is that the gay and lesbian community is the most loving community I've ever been around. They don't care if you're fat, or you're skinny, or if you have pimples, or if you're a millionaire, or if you're dead broke. They just want to give the love that they themselves want to receive, in which my evangelical community has not given. We're supposed to be the come-as-you-are culture. And we are the last thing from a come-as-you-are culture. In fact, when I immersed myself, I kept telling my friends in church, I said, man, we're getting out Jesus by a bunch of gays and lesbians, and I don't understand that. like this? Why do all my friends feel like this? As I said, the more I reflected on it, the more I started to figure out and learn that homophobia within the evangelical community, unconsciously and consciously, is imputed down from generation to generation to generation. And there are no evangelical leaders today standing up and doing a darn thing about it. Yeah. It's okay to write books about a perceived gay agenda. It's okay to shove sexual behavior down the gay and lesbian's throat and tell them that's the only thing that they're worth, and then get mad when the gay and lesbian community says, hey, you're telling me this is what I'm worth. But oh no, the gay and lesbian communities were so much more, and it's time for us to recognize that. And it's why the Lord has put me here today, to willfully and intentionally plant myself in the middle and say, I have a foot in my Bible-banging homophobic roots. I know that. It's taken me a while to be able to say that with a straight face. And yet on the other hand, straight face, yeah, I get it. And this is totally off subject, but I'm just going to tell you. I was talking recently, 7,000 evangelical Christians. I was standing up here at the pulpit, and someone asked me a question, and I said, sometimes you just got to stick it to the man. And they all started laughing, and I was like, oh, I get it, stick it to the man. But the problem has been, is since that we don't stand up, and here I am planting myself in the middle. And so I'm getting it from both sides. I'm not gay enough for the gay community. I'm not evangelical enough for the evangelical community. But where has that gotten us? It's gotten us no better than a dichotomized culture war of right versus left, conservative versus progressive, welcoming versus affirming, ex-gay versus pro-gay. And so you say to me, well, I hear what you say, but what are we supposed to do about this? Well, I'll give you some words about what we're supposed to do about this. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when he was locked up in a jail in Birmingham, Alabama, wrote a letter to his fellow clergymen to say, there is, even though I'm locked up, it's on you now to continue living this radical, countercultural life of inclusion of everybody into God's kingdom and into mainstream society. And let me read you a quote of what he said from that letter. He said, I must confess that I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension my whole life, but there is a type of constructive, non-violent tension which is necessary for growth. And I'll tell you what, evangelicals have been running as far and as fast as they can from any place that resembles a constructive, non-violent tension with the gay community because they're scared of growth. They're scared of what might happen. And so, instead of doing that, what did my community do? They say, aha, we'll come up with the best way to change people from gay to straight. They've done that so much that they forgot what it means to unconditionally love. Mm-hmm. And so with that, here's my call. Here's what I feel the Lord has put me here to do. There's no more fear. There's no more fear in this. There's no more fear for you. And when I go to my evangelical community and say, there's no more fear for you either. There's no more fear of what might happen. There's no more fear of what other people might think when you do something different. And there's no fear for what is right or what is wrong. As Martin Luther King Jr. told us, it is time for all of us to enter, willfully and intentionally enter, right there and plant our booties right in the middle and stick and stay in this place of constructive, non-violent tension because growth only comes retrospectively. And unless we put in the time and the commitment in these dirty and disgusting places, in these uncomfortable places that we don't want to be, it's never going to happen. And so here's what I have to say to you. It's not about sexual orientation because love is our orientation. Thank you.